the biggest stars in WWE, and she's been an absolute torch carrier during this terrible pandemic era. But a bright spot indeed. Bayley, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. I've got some questions, Bayley, right? That's the whole point of this here. It's WrestleMania week. You know what I'm about to ask. What is going on? Why haven't I got a Bayley match to look forward to yet?
I cannot give you an honest answer, dude. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. It just didn't happen.
I mean, I'm campaigning hard on Twitter. You're probably not seeing this, but I'm
I know,
moaning,
you
Bayley.
You guys are just rubbing it in, pouring salt in the wound.
Look, I mean, was there something in the pipe that maybe didn't work out? Like, has there been anything said along the road at all? Or surely we haven't just got to WrestleMania week and Bayley doesn't have a match. I refuse to believe it. I really do.
Sorry. I mean, even if there was something, I don't know if I would tell you guys to spoil it. But yeah, no, it's nothing, and it's okay. I'll be here for a long time.
Yeah. Well, we'll hold out hope just based on what you said there. I'm taking it.
I might just want to jump the barricade and steal my own moment. You know, if they're not going to give me one, I'll just steal it. Just make my own.
Oh, well, I mean, that needs to happen. But I mean, I guess the other thing I was going to ask on that note, like as the WrestleMania season approaches, given the tenure and the great work you've done there, is there like pitch is always the wrong word, but do you like make suggestions of like, oh, you know, it'd be cool if I could do this at WrestleMania, or like, have there been any of those kind of conversations?
Yeah. Usually it's, I mean, I've pitched for stuff for this past WrestleMania just because there's been so many instances this past year where a lot of the pitches have gone through, or, you know, it just becomes easier to talk to certain people. And my brain actually starts working and developing the more experience I get. So yeah, there's always like ideas like that. I don't know how it goes for most other people, but it's definitely open. It's open.
Yeah. I mean, and I think, although I'll circle back to that, a lot of us were hoping that the Sasha Banks Bayley story might carry to WrestleMania, right? I mean, it's awesome that we've got Bianca Belair and Sasha happening this Saturday. And of course, you've worked with Bianca early this year and Sasha late last year.
Right.
When that story was happening, were you, did you always know that Hell in a Cell was going to be the end destination, or did you think maybe it was going to carry on?
Yeah, I thought it was going to carry on a little bit more, you know, but I'm very, very happy with that Hell in a Cell match, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So glad I got to do that. But you know what? I do wish it was a little bit more, and I do wish we could have gone on to WrestleMania, because I think that's where my heart was. You know, I think I was waiting for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just saying this just because you're here. Twitter will back me up, Bayley, but I had the Hell in a Cell as my match of the year last year. I thought it was so awesomely well done. You just touched on it a little bit there. Let's expand on that. Like, how pleased were you? Because the pressure, right, after you've already done in WWE's mind and many others, the greatest women's match in WWE history, right? Like, they've officially listed that. To then follow that in Hell in a Cell, that's huge pressure. But man, did you guys deliver? Like, how did you feel about it? And what was like the backstage reaction when you got back there?
We felt pretty good about it, you know. So I did feel pressure. Like, whenever we have a match nowadays, I feel like there's pressure because everybody just luckily enjoys the matches. But yeah, there's always some kind of extra pressure when I'm wrestling Sasha. And I think a little bit of the pressure came from, it was her third Hell in a Cell match, and it was my first. So I wanted them to not just live up to her past matches, but to exceed them, and for that to be her favorite one and the fans' favorite ones. So I was very, you know, I was very in my head, just trying to think of unique things and just try to, without a crowd, which is, you know, so it was so hard without fans there. I think it would have been a million times better if we had a live audience. Oh. But I think that just made me try and work a little bit harder, because you have to get the story across even bigger, you know. I don't really, to be honest, I don't really remember the backstage. I remember TJ, who is our producer. He's very, very happy, and he's always so proud of us. And a lot of the women that were there in the locker room were very supportive. So it was nice.
In those moments, like a match like that, which I think is such a standout, like, does Vince McMahon say something special, maybe like whether it be there and then or after?
He says a few things. Yeah, we always, you know, go up to him after any match or any segment. And he was really happy with that one. So I don't really remember the specifics, but yeah.
I mean, how could he not be happy? But yeah.
each other senseless.
Well, exactly. I mean, we haven't seen you wrestle a lot either lately. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a big Ding Dong Hello fan, right? Like, I don't think we've had enough of those segments. But in terms of, there's no injuries or nothing, right? Are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah.
February 19th, I think, is the last time we saw you in the ring.
And I won, right? I beat Liv Morgan. I beat Ruby Riott. At least I went out with a bang.
Wait, come on. Don't say you went out. We don't want that.
Right. No, yeah. No.
Well, I'm just checking. You can tell I'm sleuthing for WrestleMania season. I'm like, what's up? What is up?
Hey, I'm not the person to ask, buddy.
Well, okay, let's play devil's advocate then. If you could have a selection now, right? They said, Bayley, guess what? A slot just opened up. What would you look to do on Saturday? Because there are some women who still aren't on the card at the moment, of course. I know we're getting the tag team thing, which looks like it's going to happen. But if you could have a say, what would you like to do?
I would challenge Lita. Just whoop Lita's, little behind. And then my childhood could be happy and complete. And then I would jump the barricade and slap Michael Cole's headset off a little bit. Tell him to get in the ring. We'll settle it once and for all.
I mean, how hasn't it happened is the question.
I don't know, but it will. It will.
I mentioned earlier, obviously, just how amazing you guys were during the Performance Center era into the Thunderdome. Very sincere, that is. I thought you and Sasha obviously were just killing it with all the titles, and the matches were awesome as well. Before I get into some of the specific matches, how fulfilling was that after the first tag title run, which I think you've both openly kind of said wasn't as fulfilling as you had hoped after dreaming the titles into existence in the first place? But this run, man, that showcased a hell of a lot more, didn't it?
Yeah. And then we still didn't get to do as much as we wanted, but of course we always want more. But it was definitely the title run that we wanted, and definitely the one that we felt that we had the most fun with. We were ourselves. We got to, defend them at NXT, which brought Sasha back for a match with Io. So we got to do both shows, and it was so much fun. It just kind of added to our characters at that time, and was a really good point in our career, I believe.
Well, when you say you wanted to do more, is there an example of where you wanted to take it?
I mean, we just would have loved to defend them more and have actual tag title matches. Like, we were willing to do Raw women's title matches, SmackDown women's title matches, and and tag team title matches. We wanted to do it all because we're crazy. But I think we were a little we just wanted to be on NXT a couple more times because there's a bunch of girls we haven't worked with there. And we would have loved to take it to NXT UK, which we couldn't because, can't travel. But also, I just got to be grateful. It was still fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of my favorite parts of that, and I think I'm not going to be alone, is obviously Asuka and Kairi Sane. I thought, that whole series or variations of that was just so good. I want to talk about how you beat Kairi down, Bayley, and sent her packing from WWE.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when she's crying out for Asuka, I was like, come on. My heart was pulled, Bayley.
Well, you're welcome. I mean, she deserved it. She's a little punk. She thinks she could just run around and hide behind Asuka all this time. Asuka does all the heavy lifting for her. So I decided to help her out and just be like, you know what? Just go back to Japan, be with your family. Get out of here.
Go on, scram. Hit the bricks.
Get out of here. You can't hang with us, the big dogs.
I mean, you talked about the women you wanted to work with. I'm going to presume that pairing, you look like you was having a load of fun.
Oh, yeah. They're just so amazing. They're also, obviously very, very talented. Asuka's one of my favorite people to wrestle. But Kairi was awesome, too. I got to have that one match against her. I think that was her last match. And she's just so incredible. She's somebody that I've been watching since, the Mae Young Classic. So it was cool to be able to do that with her.
Also in this stretch of period of time was Extreme Rules. You remember the finish, don't you, Bayley?
Was that with Nikki?
It was you being a referee, nonetheless.
Oh, okay. I thought my match was with Nikki. Oh, yes, I do. It's one